In today's video, what I want to do is focus your attention on 10 commonly used English phrases where on the streets of New York. The phrases that you only hear in New York, in the United States. Are you ready? Of course you are, so let's get started. The first English phrase is the Big Apple. The Big Apple. The Big Apple. The Big Apple refers to the city of New York. So when someone starts talking about the Big Apple, they're talking about the city of New York. Or when someone uses the phrase the Big Apple, what they're talking about, what they're referring to is the city of New York. When was the last time that you visited the Big Apple? When was the last time that you visited the Big Apple? Which means when was the last time that you visited New York? When was the last time that you paid a visit to New York? Now we're getting to the second phrase, which is used to emphasize an interesting way of asking the price of something, the cost of something. In other words, in New York, sometimes when you want to ask about how much something costs or about the price of something, instead of saying, hey, how much does this cost? Or what's the price of this? You can simply say, what's the damage? What is the damage? What is the damage? So what is the damage is an English phrase used in New York, on the streets of New York, in order to ask someone about the price of something, or in order to ask how much something costs. An example of this phrase: hey, what's the damage for this pizza? Hey, what's the damage for this pizza? Hey, what's the damage for this pizza? Which means, hey, how much does this pizza cost? What's the price of this pizza? How much should I pay for this pizza? The third English phrase commonly used on the streets of New York that you will most probably hear there is hit me up later. Hit me up later. Hit me up later. To hit someone up later means to contact someone later, to call someone later. So when someone tells you, hey, hit me up later, what they're asking you to do is give them a call later, or call them back, or contact them at a later time. An example of this: oh, I'm so sorry, I'm pretty busy now, hit me up later. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm busy now, hit me up later. Oh, I'm so sorry now, I'm busy, hit me up later, meaning that I'm so busy right now, give me a call back later, call me back later, contact me later. Now we're getting to the fourth phrase commonly used on the streets of New York, which is, oh man, that's fire. That is fire. That is fire. Oh man, that's fire. The phrase that's fire is an emphatic way of saying that something is exciting, something is amusing, something is good, something is interesting. So when someone in New York, when someone on the streets of New York tells you, hey man, that's fire, it means, hey man, that is interesting, that is exciting or amusing. An example of this: oh man, that car is fire. Oh man, that car is fire. That car is fire, which means, oh man, that car is exciting, amazing, interesting, amusing. That car is wonderful. Oh man, that car is fire. New York is a really strange city, guys. I mean, in a positive way, with its own unique culture and the different styles that you see that you don't get to see anywhere else in the world. The same goes for when New Yorkers want to say thank you to someone. Sometimes in New York, instead of saying thank you, people say good looks, good looks, good looks. You do something for someone, you do someone a favor, they just want to thank you. Instead of saying, oh, hey, thank you, hey, I appreciate it, they say good looks, good looks. So the phrase good looks can be used instead of thank you in order to express your sense of gratitude to someone for something, or in order to express your gratefulness to someone for something. An example of this phrase: oh man, good looks, you helped me a lot today. Oh man, good looks, you helped me a lot today. Oh man, good looks, you helped me a lot today. Which means, oh man, thank you, you helped me a lot today. I appreciate it, you helped me a lot today. So the next time you are in New York, or you're paying a visit to New York, when people say good looks on the streets of New York, when local people tell you good looks, they're not talking about anyone's appearance, they're not talking about how someone looks, they're just trying to say thank you. They're just trying to say, oh, thank you, I appreciate it. So good looks is one way of saying thank you or I appreciate it in the United States, especially on the streets of New York. Now we're getting to the fifth commonly used English phrase on the streets of New York, which is get out of here. Get out of here. get out of here. When someone in New York tells you, hey man, get out of here, they're not asking you to get out of a place, they're not asking you to leave a place, they're not asking you to go away or disappear. When they say get out of here, it means you've said something which is surprising that they cannot believe. So get out of here is a phrase used to emphasize that you're surprised by something, you cannot believe something, or is a phrase that you use in response to something that you cannot believe. You're saying this in disbelief in order to emphasize that something is shocking or surprising. You cannot accept, you cannot believe something. Get out of here. It means, oh man, I can't accept it. I can't believe this. Get out of here. An example of this phrase. Hey man, you can buy a Tesla for $20,000. Oh, come on, get out of here. Hey man, you can buy a Tesla for $20,000. Oh, get out of here. Hey man, you can buy a Tesla for $20,000. Oh, get out of here, which means, I can't believe what you're saying. I can't believe you. It is not possible to buy a Tesla for $20,000. Teslas are more expensive. You can't buy them at the price of $20,000. So I can't accept what you're saying. I cannot believe. It's surprising. It's unbelievable. Get out of here. It's not possible to be able to buy a Tesla for $20,000. Now we're getting to the next word used by New Yorkers, which is schlep, 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 schlep. You might be wondering what the meaning of this strange word is. The word schlep is a verb and refers to carrying something heavy, doing something difficult, doing a heavy task, or carrying something heavy, or taking a long trip, or traveling a long distance. So when you schlep, according to New Yorkers, when you schlep, you carry something heavy, or you drive a long distance, you take a long trip, a long distance, you take a long trip, and you drive a long period of time, or you do something difficult and heavy. You do a heavy task. You do something which is physically difficult. You do a physically heavy or difficult task, something that requires a lot of, physical activities or a lot of, physical strength. So, schlep. An example of this verb. Oh man, I had to schlep all the way from Queens to Manhattan this morning. Oh man, I had to schlep all the way from Queens to Manhattan this morning. Oh man, I had to schlep all the way from Queens to Manhattan this morning, which means, oh man, I had to drive a long distance today this morning from Queens to Manhattan. I had to schlep. I had to drive a very long distance. I had to travel a long distance between Manhattan and Queens, between Queens and Manhattan this morning. The next phrase commonly used by New Yorkers, in other words, the next phrase that you'll most probably hear on the streets of New York is, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, which means if you can succeed here in New York, it means you can succeed anywhere else in the world. If you can survive here in New York, that means you can survive anywhere else in the world, which refers to the idea or emphasizes the idea that the situation in New York, life in New York is competitive and is pretty difficult and challenging. So when you're able to face up to the challenges and difficulties of life in New York, when you're able to overcome the challenges, the difficulties, and the hardship or obstacles posed to you by life in New York, what that means is you're able to overcome the difficulties of life anywhere else in the world. You're able to overcome the hardship of life in any other country in the world or anywhere else in the world. So if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere else, meaning that if you can survive here in New York, if you can succeed here in New York, if you are able to overcome the difficulties of life here in New York, that means you're able to overcome the difficulties, challenges, and the issues in any other place in the world, in any other country in the world, in any other city in the United States, or even outside the United States, anywhere else in the world. An example of this phrase. You've been very successful here in New York. Of course, you can go to London and be successful there as well. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. You've been successful here in New York, and of course, if you go to London, you will be successful there as well. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. You've been successful here in New York. Of course, if you go to London, you'll be successful there as well. if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Meaning that, of course, you've met with success here in New York, you've worked so hard your whole life, throughout your whole life here in New York, you've been able to overcome the challenges, the problems and difficulties of living here. You've been able to, get the obstacles the life here in New York poses to you out of the way. You've been able to remove the obstacles posed to your life by living here in New York. That means you can go anywhere else in the world and remove any obstacle posed to you by life in that place, overcome the challenges and difficulties, and meet with success. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Now we're getting to the 9th phrase commonly used by New Yorkers. In other words, the 9th phrase that you will hear a lot on the streets of New York, which is, man, it's not my first rodeo. It's not my first rodeo. It's not my first rodeo. When someone tells you it's not their first rodeo, what they're trying to emphasize is the idea that they know what they're doing. They know their job, they're experienced, they've done something before, they're familiar with something, they know what they're doing, and you don't need to tell them how to do it. You don't need to teach them how to do it. You don't really need to worry about them not being able to do what they're doing because they know what they're doing. It's not my first rodeo means I know what I'm doing. It's not the first time I'm doing this. I know what I'm doing. You don't have to tell me what to do. You don't have to teach me how to do it. Don't worry about me not being able to do it as a result of not having done it before. I've done it before. I have some previous experience of doing it. I know what I'm doing. An example of this phrase. Don't worry, I'm not going to damage your car. It's not my first rodeo, man. Don't worry, I'm not going to damage your car. It's not my first rodeo, man. Don't worry, I'm not going to damage your car. It's not my first rodeo, man. Which means, don't worry, I'm not going to damage your car, man. I've done this before. I know what I'm doing. I know my job pretty well, like the back of my hand, backwards and forwards. I've got some previous experience of doing this. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry about me not being able to do it. Don't worry about me doing damage or causing damage to your car. That will never happen. I've done this before. It's not my first rodeo, man. And now we're getting to the final phrase of today's video that you will probably hear a lot by New Yorkers or on the streets of New York, which is step lively, step lively, step lively, step lively. The phrase step lively can be used to encourage someone to hurry up, to encourage someone to shake a leg or to hurry up, to rush, to do something hectically, to do something in a hurry, to be quick about it, to do something faster or more quickly. An example of this phrase. Man, we're getting late. Step lively. Man, we're getting late. Step lively. Man, we're getting late. Step lively. Which means, man, we're getting late. Come on, hurry up. Get a move on. Shake a leg. Be quick about it. Come on, we're getting late. You gotta do this faster and more quickly. Hurry up, rush. We're getting late. Step lively. And that's about all, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. We went through 10 commonly used English phrases where on the streets of New York, the Big Apple, that you need to learn and know, especially when you want to visit the beautiful city of New York. Now let's review all these phrases once again together. The Big Apple, the Big Apple. The Big Apple. What's the damage? What is the damage? What's the damage? Hit me up later. Hit me up later. Hit me up later. That's fire. That is fire. That's fire. Good looks. Good looks. Good looks. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Schlep. 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 If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's not my first rodeo, pal. It's not my first rodeo, pal. It's not my first rodeo, pal. Step lively. Step lively. Step lively. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure you like this video in support of this channel. Thank you for doing so, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll be back soon. You know the world, guys, right? The world around us, the world in which we're living, the planet Earth, right? In today's video, I will be focusing your attention on all the possible English idioms made with the world that you gotta know, that if you know your English is amazing. English idioms commonly used by native speakers containing the word world. Are you ready? Of course you are, so let's get started. The first English phrase is to think the world revolves around you. To think the world revolves around you. To think the world revolves around you. When you think the world revolves around you, you think you're the most important person in the world and everyone should respect you, everyone should care about you. Your requests and demands and needs are more important than others. Your demands, requests, and needs should always be the high priority, for everyone, and everyone should always listen to you, care about you, because you're the most important person in the world. So, to think the world revolves around you emphasizes the idea that someone is so selfish that they think they're the most important person in a group, or there's someone that others should pay all their attention to, should focus all their attention on, and should always make sure that they're happy. An example of this phrase: he always thinks the world revolves around him and never considers other people's needs. He always thinks the world revolves around him and never considers other people's needs. He always thinks the world revolves around him and never considers other people's needs, meaning that he always thinks everyone should pay attention to him. Everyone should focus all their attention on him, and he's the most important person in the world, which is why his needs are more important than others, or his needs must be in high priority. They got to be dealt with before anyone else's, and he's the person that everyone should care a lot about or pay attention to because he's the most important person in the world. So he thinks the world revolves around him, and he never considers other people's needs. Is there anyone around you who thinks the world revolves around them? How do you feel when you spend time with such people? I mean, how do you behave towards them? Do you treat them in a way that you also think the world revolves around them, or do you behave towards them in a way that you give them the feeling that you're not important, I don't care about you, you're as important as everyone. Everyone in the world is important. Every individual is important. So do you have this sort of person around you, among your friends, family members, relatives, acquaintances, anyone who thinks the world revolves around them? I want you to comment the answer down below. The second English idiom with the word world is not to be long for this world. Not to be long for this world. Not to be long for this world. When we say someone is not long for this world, it means someone is just about to die. Someone maybe is, very old, or someone is ill. Someone has a problem, a health problem. Someone is in a certain situation that has actually made them get closer to their death, or someone is about to die, someone is on the verge of their death. So when we say someone is not long for this world, it means someone is not supposed to live any longer in the world. Someone is expected to pass away or die soon, for any reasons, for one reason or another. An example of this phrase: all doctors have said that he's not long for this world due to his serious condition. All doctors have said that he's not long for this world due to his serious condition. All doctors have said that he's not long for this world due to his serious condition, meaning that all doctors have said that he's not expected or believed to live any longer, to be alive any longer. He's expected or supposed to pass away or die soon because of his serious health condition. The third English idiom with the word world is to think the world of someone. To think the world of someone. To think the world of someone. When you think the world of someone, you have a very good or high opinion of someone. You admire someone so much, you respect someone so much, you have a lot of respect for someone. You think that someone has a wonderful character and personality. So to think the world of someone means to have a very good and very strong opinion of someone or something, to think that someone is amazing, and to have a very positive mind about someone. An example of this phrase: her YouTube fans think the world of her. Her YouTube fans think the world of her. Her YouTube fans think the world of her, which means her YouTube fans have a very good or a very high opinion of her and have a lot of respect for her, admire her so much, in a very significant way. So her YouTube fans think the world of her, which means her YouTube fans have a lot of respect for her. Her YouTube fans respect her so much. Her YouTube fans have a high opinion of her. Is there anyone that you think the world of? Who is that person, and why do you think the world of them? Comment the answer down below in the comment section. The next phrase that you gotta learn with the word world is someone would give the world to do something. Someone would give the world to do something. Someone would give the world to do something. When someone would give the world to do something, they would do anything. They're ready to do anything, to do something. They're willing or ready to do something at all costs. In other words, when we say someone would give the world to do something, it means someone wants to do something so much and so badly that they're, willing to do whatever it takes to do it. They're willing to do, anything that they should to be able to do it, or to make it possible for themselves to be able to do it. An example of this phrase: she would give the world to buy that fancy car. She would give the world to buy that fancy car. She would give the world to buy that fancy car, which means she's willing to do whatever it takes to buy that car. She's ready to do whatever it takes, or to do anything that she should or she's expected to do to be able to buy that car. Or she wants that car so badly and so much that she's willing and ready to do whatever it takes to buy that car. What about you? Is there anything that you would give the world to do? What is it? And why would you give the world to do it? Comment the answers down below in the comment section. Moving to the next phrase, the next English idiom that you gotta learn how to use with the word world, which is: the world is your oyster. 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 When we say the world is your oyster, it means you have a lot of opportunities, you can do whatever you want, and you can achieve anything. There is no limit to what you can have, what you can achieve. You got a lot of opportunities, you got all that you need, whatever it takes to achieve anything you want. And there is no limit to the things that you can have or achieve. You can go as far as you want. You can get as far as you want and achieve anything you want. You just name it. An example of this phrase: with your talent and determination, the world is your oyster. You can do anything. With your talent and determination, the world is your oyster. You can do anything. With your talent and determination, the world is your oyster. You can do anything. Which means, considering the talent, the skills, the potentialities, and the determination you have, you can almost do anything. There is no limit to what you can have, what you can achieve, what you can buy, what you can get. You got a lot of opportunities considering your skills, potentialities, and talent. So the world is your oyster. You can do anything you want, achieve anything you want. The next English phrase with the word world is to put the world to rights. To put the world to rights. To put the world to rights. When you put the world to rights, you try to solve the problems in the world, the social, economic problems, or any issues and problems in human's life, or in the society, in order to improve people's lives. This happens usually in a very philosophical or in a social way. I mean, when someone tries to put the world to rights, they're trying to do their best. They're trying to go out of their way to fix the problems of the society, the social and economic problems, to make sure that everyone is living a happy life, to make sure that everyone's life is improving, to improve the general quality of life for everyone. An example of this phrase: he's always dreaming of finding ways to put the world to rights and make everything perfect. He's always dreaming of finding ways to put the world to rights and make everything perfect. He's always dreaming of finding ways to put the world to rights and make everything perfect, which means he's always looking for ways after ways to improve the overall and general quality of life for everyone and make everything perfect. The next English phrase is to do someone a world of good. To do someone a world of good. To do someone a world of good. When something does you a world of good, it is beneficial to you. It benefits you in many ways. It improves your life, it improves your situation, and it is useful and helpful in many ways. It benefits you in many ways. It is to your advantage in many ways. It is of great benefit to you in many ways. An example of this phrase: learning English does you a world of good. Learning English does you a world of good. Learning English does you a world of good, which means learning English can help you in many ways, can benefit you in many ways, and can be of benefit to you in many ways. Is very beneficial and useful. So does you a world of good. Is there anything that you think can do you a world of good now? What is it that can do you a world of good? I want you to tell me all about it down below in the comment section. The next English phrase made with the word world is to be a man or woman of the world. To be a man or woman of the world. To be a man or woman of the world. When we say someone is a man or woman of the world, what we're trying to say is that someone is very knowledgeable and experienced, someone has traveled the world, someone has been to many places in the world, and when it comes to life knowledge, they're very skilled and knowledgeable. They've experienced lots of things. They've, been in many situations, and we can turn to them for advice. We can ask them for advice, or we can listen to them. So a man or woman of the world is a very experienced and knowledgeable person who has traveled the world and knows a lot about the world. An example of this phrase: always listen to your father. He's a man of the world. He's traveled all over the world, and he knows things you don't. Always listen to your father. He's a man of the world. He's traveled all over the world and knows things you don't. Always listen to your father. He's a man of the world. He's traveled all over the world and knows things you don't. Meaning that your father is a very experienced and knowledgeable person. He's traveled the world. He's traveled all over the world and knows things you don't. So you better rely on him, count on him, and turn to him for advice and ask him for his advice. He's the best person that you can turn to for advice. He's a man of the world. The next English phrase is to think the world owes you a living. To think the world owes you a living. To think the world owes you a living. When we say someone thinks the world owes them a living, what we mean is that someone believes they deserve success, they deserve a good life, they deserve all the best in the world without having to work hard for them. They believe that everything should be given to them without having to work hard to achieve them. They believe that they deserve all the best in the world, they deserve success in the world without having to work so hard to achieve them. They believe that they're unique and special and everything should be given to them. All the best in the world should be given to them without having to work hard to achieve them, which is not the kind of mindset that helps you succeed, right? Which is not the kind of mindset that enables you to meet with success. So when someone thinks the world owes them a living, they are the ones who think they, should meet with success without having to work hard. They should achieve things overnight, and things should be given to them without, them having to work hard to achieve them. It's actually used in a negative way. I mean, it's when someone has this sort of mindset, they're completely disapproved of, and people don't like the ones who think the world owes them a living. An example of this phrase: she always complains of not having enough money. She thinks the world owes her a living. She always complains of not having enough money. She thinks the world owes her a living. She always complains of not having enough money. She thinks the world owes her a living, which means she always complains of not having enough money, and she thinks she should be given money without having to work to earn it. She thinks she should be given money without, having to do anything, without having to put effort into earning it, without having to put in effort or put in a lot of hard work to earn it. So she always complains of not having enough money. She thinks the world owes her a living. And the final phrase of today's video with the word world that you gotta learn is the phrase to come into the world. To come into the world. To come into the world. When we say someone comes into the world, what we mean is someone is born. So to come into the world is a poetic and literary way of saying that someone is born. An example of this phrase: I'm so excited because my son will come into the world at the end of this month. I'm so excited because my son will come into the world at the end of this month, meaning that I'm so excited because my son will be born at the end of this month. He will come into the world at the end of this month. We will have him at the end of this month. We're expecting him at the end of this month. And that's about all, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. Now let's review all these fantastic English phrases and idioms that you learned in today's video with the word world. Think the world revolves around you. Think the world revolves around you. Think the world revolves around you. Someone is not long for this world. Someone is not long for this world. Someone is not long for this world. Think the world of someone. Think the world of someone. Think the world of someone. The world is your oyster. The world is your oyster. The world is your oyster. Put the world to rights. Put the world to rights. Put the world to rights. Do someone a world of good. Do someone a world of good. Do someone a world of good. A man or woman of the world. A man or woman of the world. A man or woman of the world. Think the world owes you a living. Think the world owes you a living. Think the world owes you a living. Come into the world. Come into the world. Come into the world. Thank you for watching today's video. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Make sure you like this video and support this YouTube channel. Thank you for doing so, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll be back soon. Yesterday, Donald Trump officially started his job as the President of the United States. And he had his inaugural speech in front of thousands of millions of people in the US. Which is why in today's video, I've decided to focus your attention on all the possible presidential English vocabulary, presidential English words, and phrases that you gotta learn to have a better understanding of presidential English. So let's get started. The first English word that you gotta know is inauguration. 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 What is the meaning of the word inauguration? Inauguration is a noun and refers to a public and official ceremony that marks the beginning of the era of the presidency of a candidate or the presidency of an elected president. So inauguration is a public and official ceremony that marks the beginning of the era of presidency or the presidential era of a president that has been elected by people. So Donald Trump had his inauguration yesterday, meaning that he had the ceremony that officially marks the beginning of his presidency yesterday. Let me give you an example of the word inauguration. The inauguration of the new president drew a massive crowd to the Capitol. The inauguration of the new president drew a massive crowd to the Capitol. The inauguration of the new president drew a massive crowd to the Capitol, meaning that the ceremony that marked the beginning of the presidency or the beginning of the presidential era of the president, the elected president, drew a significant crowd, a massive crowd of people to the Capitol. Another example, many historical speeches have been made during presidential inaugurations. Many historical speeches have been made during presidential inaugurations. Many historical speeches have been made during presidential inaugurations, meaning that many historical speeches have been delivered during presidential inaugurations, during ceremonies which mark the presidency of a president or which mark the era of leadership of a president. Now I'm focusing your attention on a presidential phrase, a presidential English phrase that you gotta know to have a better understanding or knowledge of presidential English phrases, which is to deliver an inaugural address. 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 When you give an inaugural address, you as the president of a country give a speech during your inauguration or during your inaugural ceremony or inaugural speech in order to determine and outline the new policies, the new goals, and the targets that the country must reach, and all the important things that the country needs to focus on. So, when you give an inaugural address as the president of a country, you give a speech about the future goals of a country and the policies that will be adopted towards the country and what will happen in the country. You will show a roadmap of the country as the president. This is the meaning of deliver an inaugural address. Two examples of this phrase. The president delivered an inaugural address focusing on unity and hope for the nation. The president delivered an inaugural address focusing on unity and hope for the nation. The president delivered an inaugural address focusing on unity and hope for the nation, meaning that the president delivered a speech determining the goals of the country, determining the future of the country, providing people with a roadmap of the future of the country and the decisions that he wants to make, the steps he wants to take, and anything he wants to do during his term. The second example, Every president uses the opportunity to deliver an inaugural address to outline their vision for their term. Every president uses the opportunity to deliver an inaugural address to outline their vision for their term. Every president uses the opportunity to deliver an inaugural address to outline the vision for their term, meaning that every president takes advantage of the opportunity to deliver an inaugural address, to give a speech about the future of the country, what they want to do during their presidency, what decisions they want to make, what actions they want to take, what policies, they will adopt towards the country, and generally what they will do in their turn during their presidency. The next phrase is to take office. To take office. To take office. To take office means to officially assume a position of authority as the leader of the country, as the most important person in the country after being elected or appointed by people. So when you take office, you start working as the president of a country. You're elected by people as the president, then you start working as the president. You officially start working as the president. So to take office means a president is elected by people and then officially starts working. Officially starts their job, working their job. Officially starts working as the president of a country, or they officially assume a position of authority as a leader, as the most important person in a country. Let me give you two examples of take office. Donald Trump took office yesterday as the new president of the United States. Donald Trump took office yesterday as the new president of the United States. Donald Trump took office yesterday as the new president of the United States. The president-elect is more than ready to take office. The president-elect is more than ready to take office. The president-elect is more than ready to take office, meaning that the elected president is more than ready to start his job as the president of the country, to officially enter the White House and start working there as the president, start his job as the leader of the country, start his leadership job. Now we're getting to the next word that you gotta know to improve your knowledge of presidential vocabulary, which is president-elect. President-elect. The word president-elect. President-elect is the candidate who's been elected by people as the future president of the country, but has not started their job yet. Meaning that they've been elected by people, they're the choice of people, voting has been done and completed, a certain person has been elected as the president of the country, but they haven't officially started their job because the former president is still working, is still leading the country. They have to wait for the former president to stop working and deliver the position to the new president, to the successor. So the president-elect of a country is the candidate in an election who's been elected by people, but has not officially started their job yet. They have to wait for the former president to stop working to be able to start their job as the official president of the country. Two examples of this. The president-elect will take office on 2nd of January. The president-elect will take office on 2nd of January, which means the elected president will officially start his job as the president of the country, will officially lead the country, start leading the country on the 2nd of January. The former president congratulated the president-elect on his victory. The former president congratulated the president-elect on his victory. The former president congratulated the president-elect on his victory, meaning that the former president congratulated the candidate, the presidential candidate elected by the vast majority of people on his victory and success. The next presidential phrase is to take the oath of office. 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 Taking the oath of office is a public and official occasion on which the president, the new president of a country, the president-elect, takes an oath in front of thousands of people, in front of the public, by reassuring people that he will fulfill and redeem all his promises, the promises that he has made to people, and he will do his best to run the country at his best and make sure that all his promises are fulfilled and redeemed, and he will protect the country, adopt, the right policies in favor of people and the country, and he will do his best to do whatever he can for his people and his country as a patriot. He makes patriotic promises to people that he will do anything within his power to make sure that the country is in the right direction and is actually moving towards its goals, is working towards its goal, and the country is reaching its targets and objectives. Two examples of this. The President will take the oath of office at noon on Inauguration Day. The President will take the oath of office at noon on Inauguration Day. The President will take the oath of office at noon on Inauguration Day, meaning that the President will make his promises, will take an oath by making promises to people about his policies and all the things that he has said he wants to do or will do at noon on Inauguration Day. Another example. Every U.S. President must take the oath of office to formally accept their duties. Every U.S. President must take the oath of office to formally accept their duties. Every U.S. President must take the oath of office to accept their duties formally, meaning that every U.S. President must, in front of everyone, in front of the public, in front of millions of people and billions of eyes, publicly and officially must make promises, must take an oath by making promises to people that he will do whatever, he should do, or he will act according to the rules and the laws of the country, and he will do whatever he can and anything within his power to put the country in the right direction. And now we're getting to the final phrase of today's video that you need to know to improve your knowledge of presidential vocabulary, which is to swear in, to swear in, to swear in. When a president swears in, they administer an oath. They take an oath in front of everyone, in front of the people of a country, in front of a nation, millions of people, publicly and officially, to accept their duty and their responsibility as the president of the country, to reassure everyone that they will do anything within their power to make sure that the country is moving in the right direction. So to swear in means to take an oath officially and publicly, in front of everyone, in front of the public, in front of the nation, that you will start your job as the president of a country, and you're more than ready and willing to accept your duties and responsibilities. Two examples of this. The cabinet members were sworn in during a private ceremony. The cabinet members were sworn in during a private ceremony. The cabinet members were sworn in during a private ceremony, meaning that the cabinet members took an oath to accept their responsibilities and duties during a private ceremony. The president was sworn in by the Chief Justice on Inauguration Day. The president was sworn in by the Chief Justice on Inauguration Day. The president was sworn in by the Chief Justice on Inauguration Day, meaning that the Chief Justice asked the President to swear in, to take an oath, to accept his responsibilities and duties as the President of the country on Inauguration Day. And that's about all, guys. Now let's review all these presidential phrases and vocabulary together once again. Inauguration, inauguration, inauguration. Deliver an inaugural address. Deliver an inaugural address. Deliver an inaugural address. Take office, take office, take office. Take the oath of office, take the oath of office, take the oath of office. President-elect, president-elect, president-elect. Swear in, swear in, swear in. And that's about all, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure you like it in support of this channel and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll be back soon. There are a lot of situations in which we want to emphasize that doing something is too late and will not get us anywhere. We will not be able to do something because the time has already passed and right now is too late to even think of doing it. So you can use the following phrases that I will be focusing your attention on in today's video to emphasize that it's too late to do something. Let's start reviewing these phrases. The first phrase that we can use is, the time has passed. The time has passed. The time has passed. When we say the time has passed, it means it's already too late to do something. It's already too late to start doing something or to even think of doing something because it's golden time has passed. It's appropriate and suitable time has passed. An example of this phrase. We were supposed to submit the application by 5 p.m., but the time has passed. We were supposed to submit the application by 5 p.m., but the time has passed, which means we were supposed to submit the application by 5 p.m., but it's too late. The second phrase that we can use instead of it's too late to emphasize that doing something right now will not get you anywhere, will not do you any good because it's too late to do it is, the opportunity is gone. The opportunity is gone. The opportunity is gone. When we say the opportunity is gone, it means we no longer had the opportunity to do something. It's too late to do something. An example of this, they offered a discount, but we hesitated, and now the opportunity is gone. They offered a discount, but we hesitated, and now the opportunity is gone, which means they offered a discount, but we hesitated, and now it's too late to ask them to provide us with another discount, or it's too late to ask them for a discount because they already offered us a discount, but we, didn't take the opportunity, so the opportunity is gone. The next phrase is, it's no longer possible. Something is no longer possible. When we say something is no longer possible, it means it somehow refers to the idea that doing something will not get us anywhere, will not do us any good because it's already too late. An example, we wanted to catch the train, but it's no longer possible. It's already left. We wanted to catch the train, but it's no longer possible. It's already left, which means we wanted to catch the train, but it's no longer possible. It's too late to think of catching the train. The time has passed, and we can't catch the train anymore. The next phrase is, we've missed the boat. We've missed the boat. We've missed the boat. In English, to miss a boat means to lose an opportunity, not be able to seize an opportunity, to lose an opportunity, to miss a boat. So when you say we've missed the boat, it means it's already too late to think of doing something or to start doing something because it's not going to do us any good. It's not going to get us anywhere. We're not going to succeed. We're not going to get anywhere by starting to do it now because it's already too late. So we've missed the boat. An example of this. Everyone invested in cryptocurrency years ago and we have missed the boat. Everyone invested in the cryptocurrency and we have missed the boat, which means everyone invested in the cryptocurrency and it's too late for us now. We've missed the opportunity. It's not going to get us anywhere. If you want to invest in it now, it's too late. We won't be able to make any profit. The next one is, the ship has sailed. The ship has sailed. When we say the ship has sailed, it means the ship is no longer boarding people. The ship, is gone, is not there to be able to board it. In other words, we're referring to the idea that the opportunity has been missed, there's nothing that we can do, and it's too late. An example of this phrase. I was thinking of applying for that job, but the ship has sailed. It's already filled. I was thinking of applying for that job, but the ship has sailed. It's already filled, which means I was thinking of applying for that job, but the opportunity has been missed. The time has passed. It's no longer possible. It's too late. The ship has sailed and it's been filled by someone else. It's been given to someone else. The next phrase is, the window of opportunity has closed. The window of opportunity has closed. The window of opportunity has closed, which means it is no longer possible to do something. There is no opportunity to do something. You've already missed the opportunity to do something, the golden opportunity to do something, or you've missed the boat, or the ship has sailed. An example of this. The company was hiring last week, but that window of opportunity has closed. The company was hiring last week, but that window of opportunity has closed, which means the company was hiring last week, but now it's too late to apply for the job because they're no longer hiring. The opportunity has been missed. The ship has sailed. The window of opportunity has closed. In other words, it's too late to apply for that job. They're no longer hiring. They don't want anyone anymore. The next phrase that we can use to say that there is nothing that you can do and it's too late to think of doing something, or there's no chance or opportunity to do something, is there's no going back. There is no going back. There is no going back. When we say there is no going back, it means it's not possible to return to the past, to reverse things, or to be able to do what you had the opportunity to. So when we say there is no going back, we're trying to emphasize the idea that we had the opportunity to do something, but we didn't do it, and now it's too late. There's nothing that we can do. It's too late to do something about it. The window of opportunity has closed. We've missed the boat. The ship has sailed. It's already gone. I mean, the time has passed. It's no longer possible. An example of this: once we signed the contract, there's no going back. Once we signed the contract, there's no going back. Which means once we sign the contract, it'll be too late. There will be nothing that you can do. You will miss the opportunity. There is no going back. It is not possible to regret having signed the contract, or it is not possible to reverse things or put things back to their previous state or return things to the past. It'll be too late to do things. The next phrase is, what is done is done. What's done is done. What is done is done. When we say what's done is done, it means something has happened. You can't put things back to their previous state. You cannot reverse things. You cannot put things back to how they used to look, or what they used to look like, or how they were. Things have changed, and it's too late to take action or do anything. An example of this: I regret how I handled the situation, but what's done is done. I regret how I handled the situation, but what's done is done. I regret how I handled the situation, but what's done is done. Which means I regret the way I handled the situation, but it's already too late to improve things, to do anything about them, or to reverse things, or to put things back to normal, or to put things back to their previous state. The next phrase is, it's water under the bridge. It's water under the bridge. When we say it's water under the bridge, it means the damage is done. You know, something has happened. The ship has sailed. The window of opportunity has closed. The time has passed, or we've missed the boat, and there's nothing that we can do now. The damage is done. You know, something that shouldn't have happened has happened, and there is nothing that we can do about it. We cannot reverse things, reverse the situation, and put them back to the previous state, or we cannot return the previous situation. An example of this: we argued last week, but it's water under the bridge now. Let's move on. We argued last week, but it's water under the bridge now. Move on. Which means we argued last week, it's done. There's no going back. I mean, you can't put the clocks back. You can't turn back the hands of time. There's nothing that you can do. You cannot go back into the past, right? You cannot put things back to their previous state. Just forget about it. Let's move on. And the final phrase of today's video that we can use to emphasize that it's too late to do something because a lot of things have happened that cannot be reversed is, the damage is done. The damage is done. The damage is done. When we say the damage is done, it means something terrible has happened. It's too late to take action or do anything or reverse things. Things are no longer reversible. They become irreversible. You cannot do anything about them. You cannot reverse things or put things back to how they used to look or be, or you cannot put things back to their previous state. And something has happened and it's too late to do anything now. An example of that: I tried to fix the situation, but the damage is done and there is nothing we can do. I tried to fix the situation, but the damage is done and there is nothing we can do. Which means I tried to fix the situation, but it's too late. There is nothing that we can do now. We cannot reverse things. We cannot undo things. It's already too late and the damage is done. And that's about all, guys. So you learn the phrases that you can use to emphasize that it's too late to do something, or its golden time has passed. Now let's review all these phrases once again together. The time has passed. The time has passed. The opportunity is gone. The opportunity is gone. It's no longer possible. It's no longer possible. We've missed the boat. We've missed the boat. The ship has sailed. The ship has sailed. The window of opportunity has closed. The window of opportunity has closed. There is no going back now. There is no going back now. What's done is done. What's done is done. It's water under the bridge. It's water under the bridge. The damage is done. The damage is done. Thank you for watching today's video. Make sure you like it and support this channel and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I'll be back soon. In today's video, I will be giving you 10 sentences that if you can complete, your English is wonderful and fantastic. Are you ready for these 10 sentences? Of course you are. So let's focus on them. Here is the first sentence that we have here. It's raining cats and... What is the correct answer? You got 10 seconds to tell me the correct answer. The correct answer is, it's raining cats and dogs. The correct answer is dogs. It's raining cats and dogs. But what is the meaning of raining cats and dogs? You must know the meaning. I think you know the meaning, don't you? But let me tell you the meaning of this idiomatic expression. When we say it's raining cats and dogs, it means it's raining heavily. Or it's pouring rain. It's raining heavily. Let me give you an example of that. It was raining cats and dogs all night long. It was raining cats and dogs all night long, which means it was raining heavily all night long. Now let's focus on the second sentence that if you can complete, your English is wonderful. Your knowledge of English idioms is fantastic, which is this one. Better late than... Yeah, the correct answer is better late than never. Better late than never. But what does it mean? What does better late than never mean? Well, better late than never refers to the idea that we'd better do something later than expected, but be able to do it. Or sometimes doing something later is much better than hurrying up and rushing to do it, earlier, at the risk or at the expense of putting your lives in danger, or at the expense or at the risk of doing something dangerous to ourselves. So when we say better late than never, what we're trying to emphasize is the idea that sometimes it is better to do something later than earlier, but you just make sure that you're doing it carefully, cautiously, without having to risk your life on anything dangerous, or without having to take the risk of putting your life at risk or in danger of something crazy. Let's say someone has an appointment, they're late for the appointment and they say, hey, I gotta drive fast because if I don't drive fast, then I may not be able to make it to the appointment in a timely manner. But that is a big mistake. So in such a situation, in response to this situation, in response to what this person wants to do by driving fast, we can simply say, hey, better late than never, which means drive slowly, carefully, and cautiously. You will get to the appointment a little bit later than expected, but it is much better to get there later than, to get there earlier, but at the cost, at the expense, at the price, or at the risk of doing anything dangerous, or losing your life, or doing anything that might pose or present a threat to your life, to your health. So better late than never. Let me give you an example of this phrase. I know you're late, but drive carefully. Better late than never. I know you're late, but drive carefully. Better late than never. I know you're late, but drive carefully. Better late than never. All right, now let's focus on the third sentence that if you can complete, your English is amazing, which is this one. Actions speak louder than... Yeah, the correct answer is words. Actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. But what does it mean? When we say actions speak louder than words, it means actions are more important than words. What someone does in practice is far more important than what they say or what they talking about. In other words, you got to judge someone by what they do, by their actions, than by their words or what they say or what they're talking about. In other words, what someone is talking about is not as important as what they do or their actions. An example of this phrase: I know you got a lot of goals, but in order to reach them, you need to do something. Actions speak louder than words. I know you have a lot of goals, but in order to reach them, you need to do something. Actions speak louder than words, which means I know you got a lot of goals, but in order to reach them, you got to do something. It is not enough to talk about having goals or to talk about setting yourself a goal or to talk about your goals. What is more important, what is far more important, is to work towards your goals by doing something, by taking action, by doing something that can help you reach your goals faster and sooner, or that can pave the way for you to reach your goals. And talking about your goals is not enough, will not get you anywhere or do anything, do you any good, but doing something that will help you work towards your goals is far more important than just talking about your goals. Now we're getting to the next sentence that, if you can complete, your English is wonderful, which is, don't judge a book by its... The correct answer is cover. Don't judge a book by its cover. Do not judge a book by its cover. But what does it mean? When we say don't judge a book by its cover, it means do not judge people by how they look. Do not judge things by how they look. Do not judge people by their appearance, by what they wear, by what they say. Judge them by what they do. So you should not judge people by or things by how they look or their appearance. Judging people or things on the basis of how they look, on the basis of their appearance, is completely wrong, is completely a wrong thing to do. So never judge people or things by their appearance or how they look. Let me give you an example of this phrase. Don't judge a book by its cover. This guy looks like the poor, but he's rich. Don't judge a book by its cover. This guy looks like the poor, but he's rich. Which means do not judge this guy by how he looks or by his appearance. He may look like the poor, he may look like poor people, but he's rich and wealthy. He's got billions of trillions of dollars. He's got billions and trillions worth of properties all across the United States. Now we're getting to the sentence number 5, that if you can complete, your English is amazing and wonderful. Everyone has got to praise your English. Everyone has got to admire you for your English, which is, the ball is in your... The correct answer is court. The ball is in your court. The ball is in your court. But what does it mean when we say the ball is in someone's court? The ball is in your court. Well, the ball is in your court is trying to emphasize the idea that now it is someone's turn to do something. Now it is up to someone to make a decision, to make an important one. Now it is down to someone to make a decision. It is for someone to make an important decision about something. Or it is someone's turn to do something important. It is someone's time to play a significant role, play an important role that can change a certain situation, either for the better or for the worse. An example of this phrase: you have all the money, so the ball is in your court. You have all the money, so the ball is in your court. You have all the money, so the ball is in your court, which means you got all the money, so it is up to you to make a decision. It is up to you to do something, take action. Others will obey you accordingly. Others will, bring their decisions or their actions into line with whatever it is that you want to do or whatever decision it is you want to make, because you got all the money. So they got to listen to you. They got to bring their actions, their thoughts, their behavior into line with, or their decisions into line with whatever it is that you want to do, because the ball is in your court. You got all the money. You have all the money in your hands, meaning that everyone else is controlled by you. Everyone else has to listen to you, obey you, and, do whatever it is that they want to do in accordance with you. Now we're getting to the next sentence that, if you can complete, your English is fantastic, which is, kill two birds with one. The correct answer is stone. kill two birds with one stone. Kill two birds with one stone. But what does it mean when you kill two birds with one stone? To kill two birds with one stone means to do something that serves two purposes at the same time. To do something that achieves two important things at the same time. In other words, when you kill two birds with one stone, you reach two goals, two important goals at the same time. You achieve two important things at the same time, or you do something that serves two important purposes at the same time. Or let me put it this way, when you kill two birds with one stone, you do something that enables you to reach two goals at the same time, or you do something that benefits you in two ways simultaneously. Let me give you an example of this. By buying a house, you kill two birds with one stone. On the one hand, you're investing your money, and on the other hand, you don't have to pay for rents anymore. By buying a house, you're killing two birds with one stone. On the one hand, you're investing your money, and on the other hand, you don't have to pay for rents anymore. Which means by buying a house, you're doing something that serves two important purposes simultaneously, or at the same time. The first purpose is you're investing your money, which is an important achievement, and the second thing is you're not in a situation in which you have to pay for rents. You don't have to pay for rents anymore. So by buying a house, you're killing two birds with one stone. Now we're getting to the next English sentence that if you can complete, your English is amazing, which is break a leg, break a leg, break a leg, break a leg. Break a leg is a phrase that we use in order to wish someone good luck. In other words, when we say break a leg, it means bravo. It means good job. It means I wish you luck. So break a leg is a phrase used as a way of expressing someone good luck or wishing someone good luck. Let me give you an example of this. I know you have an exam tomorrow, so break a leg. I know you have an exam tomorrow, so break a leg. I know you have an exam tomorrow, so break a leg, which means I know you have an exam tomorrow, so I wish you luck and success. Now we move to the next phrase that if you can complete, your English is amazing, which is when pigs The correct answer is when pigs fly. When pigs fly. But what does it mean when we say when pigs fly? Pigs cannot fly. I've never seen pigs flying. You might be wondering what the meaning of this phrase is because you can never see a pig fly, or pigs do not fly. They can't fly. Well, when pigs fly refers to the idea that something is highly unlikely and improbable, something is impossible and will never happen or take place. So when we use when pigs fly in response to someone asking us a question or in response to something, what we're trying to emphasize that something will never happen, we will never do something, something is impossible, or something is highly unlikely. Let's say someone asks you about when you will do something, a certain thing, and you just want to emphasize that you will never do it, but instead of saying, I will never do it, in response you say, I will do it when pigs fly. But the question arising now is, can pigs fly? The answer is no. So when you say you will do something when pigs fly, it means you will never do it because pigs are not able to fly. They're not capable of flying. They can't fly. So when you do something when pigs fly, it means it is highly unlikely that you will do something. It is highly improbable that you will do something. Or in other words, to put it simply and clearly, you will never do something. An example of this. Hey, when will you upgrade your car? When pigs fly. Hey, when will you upgrade your car? When pigs fly. Which means, I will never upgrade my car. Someone asks me, when will you upgrade your car? And in response to this question, I'm saying, when pigs fly. It means, I will never upgrade my car. Now we're proceeding to the next English phrase that if you can complete, your English is fantastic, which is, every cloud has a silver The correct answer is lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. Every cloud has a silver lining. But you might be wondering, what the meaning of every cloud has a silver lining is, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, what is this guy talking about? What is the meaning of every cloud has a silver lining? Then you're watching the right video, you've come to the right place, you're watching the right videos, you're on the right YouTube channel. Every cloud has a silver lining means there's always hope in every bad situation. There's always a positive thing to be looking for in every negative situation, in every difficulty. In other words, when we say every cloud has a silver lining, it means in every difficult, unpleasant, and unbearable situation, there's always a positive, there's always a sense of optimism, there's always hope, or there's always an advantage. Something might be unpleasant, something might be difficult, but it is followed by an advantage or a positive. So every cloud has a silver lining emphasizes the idea that in every difficult, unpleasant, and unbearable situation, there's always a positive to be looking for. There's always an advantage that you can gain. There's always something positive, a positive aspect that you can reach and take advantage of. Let me give you an example of this phrase. We make mistakes, but every cloud has a silver lining. We learn from our mistakes, which means it is true that we make mistakes in life, and when you make a mistake, it is followed by a lot of negative feelings and thoughts. I mean, the fact that you realize that you've made a mistake is something, difficult to accept, something unpleasant and unbearable to accept, something that puts you under psychological pressure, but every cloud has a silver lining, meaning that in every difficulty there is hope. In every difficulty there is a positive, which is we learn from our mistakes. The advantage to making a mistake is the fact that you learn from your mistakes. You learn something new. Now let's move to the 10th sentence of today's video, that if you can complete, your English is wonderful and people have got to admire you. I mean, your friends, family members, and people around you have got to admire you for your amazing English, which is to bite off more than you can, yeah, the correct answer is chew. To bite off more than you can chew. To bite off more than you can chew. To bite off more than you can chew. When we say someone is biting off more than they can chew, what we mean is that someone is doing something that they cannot handle. Someone is taking on responsibility for something that they're not able to fulfill. They're not able to complete. They're not able to do. Someone is accepting responsibility for something, taking on responsibility for something that they may not be able to do successfully. They may not be able to fulfill. Someone is doing something that they can't handle. Someone is doing something that they will not be able to do. So that's the meaning of to bite off more than you can chew. Let me give you an example of this. By studying and working at the same time, I think you're biting off more than you can chew. By studying and working at the same time, I think you're biting off more than you can chew. By studying and working at the same time, I think you're biting off more than you can chew, which means by studying and working at the same time, doing two tough things at the same time, I think you're biting off more than you can chew, which means you're doing something that you're not able to handle. You're doing something that your strength is not able to handle or afford. Or you're doing something that you will not be able to do successfully. You're taking on or accepting or assuming responsibility for something that you will not be able to do successfully. You will not be able to, come out of doing smelling of roses, that you will not be able to meet with success in doing. And that's about all, guys. Thank you for watching today's video. In today's video, you learned 10 highly practical English phrases that if you use in your speech, your English is next level. You've already taken your English to the next level. Now what I want you to do is like this video in support of this channel, and thank you for doing so, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll be back soon.